Okay, so in this video, we're going to look at addressing the second question, determine the multiple regression equation that consider x1, x2, x3, x4, and x5. And also we're going to interpreting the 5 partial coefficients. Okay, so the data set we're using here is this one. So if you don't know how to getting this value x4 and x5, you have to watch the previous video because I show you how you can efficiently to identify the value for your dummy variables and also how efficiently and without error to filling all your observations dummy variables. Okay, so like I said, watch the previous video if you don't have any value for these two columns. Okay, so now we are able to have this data set. My column 1A is my x variable, B, C, D, E, and F. So they are my x variables. So how can we developing our regression equation? So first of all, we are going to data tab. Okay, and then we are using the same method we did for our simple linear regression model. So we are using the function of the data analysis tool pack. We are using regression. And then we click, after we find regression, we click OK. So now we're going to select our Y range, and then we are click this little arrow, and then selecting everything in my first column, column A. So make sure you include the label. After you do so, click this little arrow one more time. Okay, and then in the X range, we click this little arrow one more time, and we're selecting all the X variable we have here. Like I said in the previous video, it is very important that all your X variable are next to each other. There is no gap, no unusable variables among all your X variables. All the X variable has to next to each other. So like you can see now, I select all the B, C, D, E, F column because they are my X variables. So after I do so, I click this little arrow. And then since I include a label in my first row, I check this box, label. And then here, I need to changing the here to 2 because I want this question will help me to address question number 2, developing the multiple linear regression output. So I will changing my creating a new tab called question 2. Like I said, for this class, we're later on we're going to learn how to do the testing our model assumptions. So make sure you're checking all those boxes, residuals, standard residual, line fit plot, and the normal probability plot. And you check all those boxes, not the residual plot. Okay, so residual, standard residual, line fit plot, and normal probability plot. After you check all of those, and then you can click OK. Okay, so now we have this very standardized Excel output. Like I said, in our first video on the simple linear regression model, what I usually like to do is try to keep all my number to 4 decimal places so that I can avoid to see this kind of weird expression with the E in it. So if you know that's called a scientific expression, if you're not familiar with this kind of expression, you should, or maybe I should say you must, converting all your number with limited decimal places. Otherwise, you will have a mistake when you're reading these numbers later on, working on other problems. So how can you do that? So click this little arrow on the top left top triangles here. There is a big triangle. It allows you to select in the whole spreadsheet. After you do that, and then right click the mouse and then go into format cells. And now we're going to number. And now we're going to decimal places, increase to 4, and then click OK. Okay. After you do that, as you notice that here was a 1 point something E. So if without this understanding expression, scientific notation, like you say 1.066, so you might end up the wrong numbers. As you see that if we only keep 4 decimal places, they are able to allow us to help understand what is this E negative 168 actually convert to. So this actually is 1.066 times 10 powered by negative 168. So it's a very small numbers. So as you see that if we only keep 4 decimal places, the value here is 0, right? If you don't do that, you are thinking, oh, this significant F is 1.06. So you actually end up really wrong answers, right? Okay, this is our regression output. Okay, let me enlarge a little bit. So I explained it in our when we work on question number 1. So in this table here is allow us to find R square or just R square we are going to use. And in the second table here, it is our ANOVA table, but the information we'll use for this class is here. Is our significance F, allow us to do the F test. And then the third table here is very important to help us understand our regression equations. So the coefficient, this column, allow us to identify our coefficient equation, how that equation should look like. So this is my B0, B1, B2, B3, B4, and B5, okay? And then the other column is very important for our class is this column called the p-values. So this value allow us to identify if our regression equation allow us to find the significant relationship between each of the variable with the y variables, okay? So the last one is these two columns, lower and upper 95%. So this is the partial coefficient for the slope, or the partial coefficient for the confidence interval for the slope. So this is the confidence interval for the partial coefficient. So it's the second approach we can use to do the hypothesis testing to understand if any of the x variable has a statistical significant relationship with your y, right? So those are the one. So we are very care about, so I'm highlighting those statistics because we are going to look at it later for the other problems, okay? Those two, significant F, p-value, lower, upper, and the coefficient. Okay, so let's just focus on, first of all, the question number 2. Determine the multiple regression equation, and then so first of all, how this equation should look like, right? So we have 5 x variables. So ideally, our equation should be equal to B0 plus B1 x1 plus B2 x2 plus B3 x3 plus B4 x4 plus B5 x5, right? So now the question is, what is value B0, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5? So we just need to identify where are they on Excel. So here they go. This is the value we need to use to fill in my equations. B0, right? So this is my B0, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5. Okay, so let me type those values down. So basically for question number 2, my equation should equal to B0, A324.3138. When you work on the homework, make sure to understand how many decimal places they are looking for. So in this one, we didn't specifically ask the number of the decimal places. Therefore, I'm just using 4. X1 plus next one, 358.8124. 358.814 x2, and then plus 47.6169 x3, and then the next one actually is a negative value, minus a negative 70.4354 x4, and then plus 21255.7565 x5. Okay, so this is my regression equation, or you can actually replacing your actual value, right? Because that help you to interpreting. So my y variable is the price, right? The price equal to, okay, so all those numbers not changed. So my first x1 value is a square. So basically it's a square feet. And then my x2 here is bedroom. And then x3 here is age. And then x4 here is the dummy variable to indicating whether they locate at Erie or not. And then x5 here is whether they locate at the Dallas. Okay, this is so personally, both works for this class. You can keep your x, use your x notations, or you can actually changing your x with the actual value because it will help you to interpret, right? So now, the next question is, they ask us to interpreting the 5 partial coefficient. So basically, we are asked to interpreting my coefficient in front of x1, x2, x3, x4, and x5. So usually we are not interpreting the one for the slope here, the intercept, because the intercept just means all the variable equal to 0. What is the value for y? So basically, if the square footage of the heated floor is 0, there's no bedroom, the age is 0, and it's not located Erie and the Dallas, it will be in Pullman. So the price is $8,324. Of course, it doesn't make sense, right? How you have a house and no bedrooms. So that's so therefore usually you are not asked to interpreting the B0 here, but definitely the rest of the partial coefficient will require to interpret. Okay, so now let's work together. How can we interpret it? So in our lecture we talked about for the partial coefficient, pretty much the same as your simple linear regression model. It's talking about if x increased by 1, how y will change. However, you need to add in a one extra statement, that is keep other variable not change, or in the economic class we call the ceteris paribus. So we are interpreting x1's partial coefficient 38.647. So we are assuming x2, x3, x4, and x5 are not changed. So basically, given the house had the same amount of bedroom, same age, located at the same place, if the square foot of heated floor increased by 1 square feet, our price will increase by $38.647. Okay, let me write it down. So the interpreting my B1. So that is interpreted as even other variable not change if the heated floor square footage increase by 1 square foot, the house price will increase by that much, right? So let me just copy this one. Okay, most of the time I saw students forgot is this statement. When you're interpreting the multiple linear regression model, it's very important, okay? Keep in mind, you will lose point if you are not including this one in your case study exams, okay? Okay, now B2, similar idea. So basically, the number of the bedroom increased by 1, the housing price increased by that much, given the rest of the variable doesn't change. So let me just copy this statement here. Okay, if the number of the bedroom increased by 1, the house price will increase by, try to avoid the typo, so I'm just copying here, okay, that much. Okay, next one, B3. Similarly, the first phrase, cannot forget. If the age of the house increases by 1 year, the house price will increase. A little bit counterintuitive, right? So the house is older, getting more expensive. But we're going to look at a significant, right? Later, we're going to look at significant. Maybe this variable actually is not significant. Okay, so this is B3. Now the challenging one will be the B4. Again, dummy variable. You cannot say the house increased by 1. What is increased by 1 actually means? Okay, so if you recall my lecture videos, so again, this is a computer skill video. If you forgot, make sure you go back to watch the lecture video related to dummy variable. So when we are interpreting dummy variables, we are comparing different levels, right? If you look at our Excel sheet, okay, let me come back here. So this is our Excel files. If you look at our data, so we are compare levels. So when you look at a partial coefficient, it's not about, okay, house increased by 1 year. We are not looking at that. We are actually compare different levels. So instead of say housing increases year rate by 1, we should compare with our base level. If you recall in the lecture video, I talked about how I can identify the base level. So the base level is the level when all the dummy variable equal to 0. So in this case, our base level is Pullman, because the Pullman is when all my dummy variable equal to 0. So we are comparing with the Pullman if the house is in, which is X4 indicating, right, the dummy variable for Erie. So if the house is located at Erie, that is what we try to see the differences, okay? First of all, don't forget about this verb statement. So this statement has always existed when you are interpreting your multiple linear regression model's partial coefficient. Given other variables do not change, now we are comparing with my base level. Comparing with the house in Pullman. This is my base level. Again, if you do not know how to identify base level, please watch the lecture video where I'm talking about how you can identify base level. Comparing with the base level, if the house is at, again, the reason we know it's Erie because X4 is indicating Erie. If the house is at Erie, the price will be, it's a negative value, right? So therefore it's a cheaper. That much dollar cheaper. So now you know the house in Pullman is slightly more expensive than the house in Erie. Okay, so I should call it average house. So actually here I need to add the average house. They are all talking about average. Okay, also here. Great. Now you know how to interpret B5 now, right? Because B5 similarly, instead of the partial coefficient for the dummy variable for Erie, it's a partial coefficient for the dummy variable for Dallas, right? So therefore, like I said, I like make it easier. So everything are the same, comparing the same base level. However, the house here is not in Erie, it's in Dallas. So the average house price will be, it's positive. So, oh wow, the most expensive houses is at Dallas City. I guess, like I said, this is a hypothetical city. So will be $21,255,000 more expensive. Now you know among the three cities, Pullman, Erie, and Pullman, Erie, Dallas. So the Dallas has the most expensive houses because you see, compared with the Pullman, Erie is cheaper, and compared with Pullman, Dallas is way much expensive. So the Dallas has the most expensive houses, and then next is Pullman. The last one is Erie. So Erie has the cheapest one. Okay. So the B5 and the B4 and the B5, besides the keyword given other variable do not change, you have to make sure you understand what is your base level. So this is another one I want to highlighting is compare with your base level. You need to have this statement in your interpretation as well. Okay. So this is the answer for question number 2.